Hello, everyone. You guys might think I'm morbid, but I watched a few YouTube channels that show, somebody's dog passing away, and they show, like the last like week or two or so that, they were sick leading up to them being euthanized, and then the aftermath. And some of them show more, details than others. And it's difficult to watch, but it definitely gives me so much more comfort. And the reason it gives me comfort, not that I am happy that they went through it. I had never actually watched, like anyone pass away before, human or animal, and maybe like little animals here and there, that didn't seem significant to me, like I didn't have an emotional bond with them or anything, but really no animal or human that I knew. I've never watched someone die before, and also I've never gone alongside somebody who was sick. You know what I mean? So sick to the point of passing away. And so I had never experienced that. And especially with pet illnesses, they happen so fast. And when I was talking to dog owners, they were all the same, very, very similar story. Like they didn't even know they were sick. And then suddenly they seem off and they go to the vet, and the vet tells them that they're terminally ill and they should put them down that very moment. I don't know if I really agree with that, but that's usually the scenario. Sometimes the dog needs to be put down that very moment, but sometimes I think you need to, maybe take a day or two just to see with your own eyes, if it's really their time or not. So, just a side note, but anyway, so having heard all those stories, but then watching these videos and, just, having that reinforced. There was one story where this dog was going to get chemo every single week, very, very expensive chemo, therapy shot. And so every single week they went to a very, very, like expert in cancer, like a veterinarian that is a specialty, clinic for cancer. And so they were being like examined from head to toe every single week. And they were looking like better and better and better. The cancer treatment was working very well. There was really no cure for the cancer, but the progress they had seen was so good. And so just 1 week later, when they've gotten the best, prognosis of all, after weeks and weeks of doing this, and the tumor shrinking, and then suddenly 1 week later, there's this huge mass that moved to a different location. And suddenly the doctor is saying that the cancer has become resistant to the chemotherapy. And then very soon after that, I think it was just within 3 or 4 days, the dog declined and then had to be put down because like immediately right away, because he was suffering so much. So to go from week after week cancer treatment that's been going well, the dog's playing, eating well, running around, acting very, very well, to then suddenly within 1 week, this huge growth, had appeared in a different location. And then they are so bad that within, even after that, then just a few days later, they have to be put down. I hope anyone who doesn't know this already understands that that is the nature of, pet illness. And because their lives are so short, you know what I mean? I think it's a shock for us when humans get ill. Sometimes they decline very fast, especially when they're quite elderly, but a lot of times they're ill for quite a long time. And so when I experience Azura's, illness and her passing away, it all happens so fast. But now that I see other people's stories, I realize that maybe I was very grateful. Her like really, really serious illness, I think it lasted about 1 month. And it was like really up and down, touch and go for 1 month. For the 2 months before that, she was kind of up and down as well, but it wasn't as scary and as serious, but definitely scary. It's hard to explain. And so I feel like she was really a fighter. It made me so proud of her that she was so strong. She even refused medications for a very long time, and she still hung on and she fought. I know she was suffering, because I could see it every moment she was suffering. And you might say, then why didn't you put her down? And that's another story. But I really think she fought to stay here on Earth with me for a whole month. And so I'm truly grateful, now that I see that. I wasn't going to cry in this video. Today's the first day I wore a little bit of makeup. This morning too, when I went out. I haven't worn this much makeup since 3 months before she passed away. So, whenever I feel a little bit stronger, I try to make an effort, and hopefully little by little I can kind of come back to the land of the living. So anyway, it was helpful because sometimes we can over dramatize our situation when it's so shocking. It's very legitimate, but at the same time, when I haven't had any other experience like it's very, very easy to be severely impacted by the drama of it, and also not really knowing what other people have gone through. I was just ignorant. It was just something that I wasn't around. I hadn't been with close people that have lost their pets through, from illnesses. I just hadn't had any firsthand experience with that. So of course I know people who lost their, pets and everything, but, most people don't want to talk about it, first of all. And secondly, I wouldn't know all the details of it. So even though it might seem morbid, watching these videos really, really helped. And I find that the owners were saying almost exactly same things that I was saying and feeling at the time, the way they were expressing themselves, the shock they were going through. I really think shock is a huge, huge deal. So anyway, that was something I just learned in the past week. And the second aspect of that is they all were also saying that even though they know their dog or animal is sick, they look really sick, and they do all these behaviors they never normally do, retreating. Typically they always want to be near you, but suddenly they're going off on their own. That's very scary, because it's very abnormal, right? That's usually a behavior they do when they're not feeling well, or they're pacing or panting a lot, or not eating, not drinking, or you mentioned their favorite things, their most favorite things, and they don't want it. It's scary. I have totally been there. It's really, really scary. So if you're watching and you have a animal who's sick right now and they haven't passed away, but you're afraid they're going to pass away, my heart truly goes out to you. I was there, and I was all by myself. I had a few friends that I called on the phone, but I truly was literally in body and in spirit here by myself with my baby. And I went through it by myself. It was scary. And so my heart goes out to you. And, if you want to send me a message or anything, please do. But another thing that made me feel really, really uncertain and have some, anxiety is that they looked well at some point, and then they look so unwell, and then they look well. So sometimes it's very confusing. You think they're on the mend, and then suddenly they're so sick, and then suddenly you're thinking, oh, I'm going to put them, to sleep today. And then suddenly they're well, and then you feel guilty that you thought you were going to, put them to sleep. And it's a complete roller coaster. So, that's very, very normal. I've heard doctors say it. I've heard People who have gone through it say it. I've said it. Every time people had asked me, you know, how's Azura doing today during her last 3 months, and I said my answer was always, it's up and down. That's the only answer I could offer, because it was truly just up and down. Some days good, some days bad, some moments fine, and then the next one, like I still remember the um, um, 2 days before she passed away, we had gone to the mall, and she was actually running through the mall, like, and then I think it was 1 day before she passed away, the night before, she had a spurt of energy, and so she actually played with me. We played one of our favorite games, like it's called like Where's the Bullet? And so I would take a, you know, Nerf gun and I would shoot it, and then like she'd have to go find the bullet, and of course she didn't return it to me. She would just sit there and chew it. And so I would have to watch her chew it and then take it away until when it wasn't safe anymore. I didn't want her ingesting anything. But I didn't want to shoot the gun because like it would make her like completely leap, you know what I mean, to go get it. So I just would hide the bullet, and then I would tell her to come in and look for it. So that was like our gentle version of it. And so like I think it was literally 1 day before she was playing that. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. I have so many stories of how she was on the up, and then she was on the down, and then up and down, and I still truly believe she was suffering. But this is for, you know, another video, is that I would really like to talk about when it's the right time to put down your pet and let them, you know, lay them down to rest forever. So I don't regret my decision, and I think I made the right decision, but my decision is probably not the right decision for other pets and other owners. So I would like to just, you know, sign off and tell you.